It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
We on a mission and that's bringing y'all the truth. You know the problem, but we get into the root. The devil watching, yeah, he always on pursuit. But Jesus is our rock, so we shall not be moved. We on a winning team, so we can't lose. We say facts, cause we hitting y'all with proof. Started from the bottom, now we standing on the roof. As God as our witness, we gon' make it to the moon. When you want the truth, the world be hiding it. This the real word, we providing it. We got Acee, BK, Truth, Rick Star, and we plan to make a movie like it's Pixar. We came a long way from the plantation. We just tryna save your souls from damnation. So if you down with the message, tune in every week. It will lead you to the message that you seek.
It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
Thank you for watching. Shout out to everybody for watching. Shout out to everybody for supporting. Welcome to The Real Word. This is season 7, episode 5. So shout out to everybody that has been watching. Shout out to Mr. Hall that came on the last 2 episodes. He did great numbers. He did great and excellent things. And shout out to Kamel, that's his pop. So shout out to the
OG.
Shout out to the OG. Shout out to the father-son combo. Thank you for supporting us. You can find us on Facebook. That's www.facebook.com/therealword7. That's the Real Word 7. Like Mike Vick, you can catch us on YouTube at The Real Word TV. The Real Word TV, one word on YouTube. You can also catch us on Instagram at The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. You can also catch us on podcasts if you're into podcasts on Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, and Pandora. So you catch us there. Also, shout out to the Brick Network. We're on the Brick Network every Tuesday and Thursday at 1, 4, and noon. So shout out to my co-host that's in the building with me.
You already know it's the one and only Acee Irving in the building. Add me on Instagram, Acee Irving 11. If there's no 11, that ain't me. Add my business page too, you know, Zero Enterprise. I got a few merches coming this weekend. This week, you know, stay tuned.
Alright. And we got 2 special guests in the building today. You see them wearing matching colors and everything. You know.
And Clarington.
I had to put them in the middle, the hot seats. So introduce yourself, guys.
Alright, what's up, everybody? My name is Benzs.
Benzs Pink.
That's it. Name is Benzs. Yeah.
Last name Pink.
Okay. Oh, last name too?
Nah, just introduce yourself. Tell people about yourself.
Oh wait, my name is Benzs. 25.
25.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, no. I don't want to find you on Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah, find me on Facebook at Benzs Jean Francois. You know, find me on Instagram at Benzs. Follow me out. I don't even do that, honestly. It's just like, I don't even shout myself out.
Yeah, I go promote your YouTube page.
No, she could do the promotion for you too.
You also got the lovely lady in the house. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Junnelle. You can find me on Instagram at _heartofjune_. And you can check both of us out on YouTube. Our channel is called June and Beans. No space.
June and Beans.
That's interesting, yeah. I've been seeing you guys on YouTube.
June and Bean though?
Because my name is, my nickname is June.
Junnelle.
And my nickname from high school is Beans.
Beans?
Yeah, that's a nickname he gave me. And I was like, you know what? Huh?
Who used to beat up?
Who I used to beat up?
Yeah.
I used to be the one getting beat up. You know I was the one getting. I was Haitian and dark skin. That was not a good time to be Haitian and dark skin. That was not a good time.
That was
not a good time to be Haitian and dark skin.
Because I'm Haitian and dark skin.
It wasn't a good time.
I said okay, bro.
Then you know it was not a good time.
During our time, though, you know, light-skinned brothers was really the ones.
Exactly. Light skin was winning crazy
they used
back
to call
then in those days.
the dark-skinned brothers African booty.
Boy, I was darker than under the bed. I was darker than dark side of the moon. What else was I? Oh, and plus Haitian, the dirt cookie jokes. Like it was just a bad time to be Haitian and dark.
We came straight from the boat too. So
exactly.
That's another struggle.
Not to mention, I had a stutter. I had a crazy stutter.
I
had a crazy stutter coming from the boat. It was just a bad time. They had too much ammo on me. Too much.
So let's focus more on the YouTube because, like, I've been seeing you guys recently on Facebook on YouTube and on Instagram. I've been seeing you guys share the videos, and I've watched a couple of your videos, and I like the topics that you guys talk about and the things that y'all discuss. So tell us what made y'all start that show, and what is the message that you're trying to spread to the people?
Well, we wanted to talk about 3 things. So our relationship, and talk about faith, talk about God, but also talk about real topics in the Black community, whether it's femininity and masculinity was like a big topic, especially with people like Kevin Samuels and MTR and all those people.
Oh, yeah,
so
Kevin Samuels.
yeah, we did a video on him.
Yeah, we can talk about him today.
If you guys want to. But yeah, just that, and talk about family, the Black family, how important that is, and just little topics like that, marriage, all that.
Y'all talking marriage already.
I also add another reason why it's like we want to.
I wish I found love like that.
we really also want to help promote the idea that the dynamic between a man and woman, the way God created it, is how it's supposed to be. Yeah. We shouldn't try to change it. We shouldn't try to add on to it. We shouldn't think that we know better, because it's just like, the person who created you, how can you know better than him? He designed the whole dynamic. Exactly, right? He designed the whole dynamic. So we also want to help. We also want to try to push that, because it's like, relationship is discussed a lot, but they tend to leave out the person that created the whole dynamic between man and woman. They tend to leave out that out.
I think there's 2 different versions of a relationship. I think version 1 is what God gave you, and then version 2 is what
the word is, what the earth is trying to do, right?
Yeah. And the earth version, to me, is fake. Because why?
That's why it don't work.
Because you could always replace it. And if it's replaceable, then it's not going to work.
So here's a good question that I'd like to ask you guys, because me as a youth leader, like, this is a question that I want to ask all the young people, especially now, because I still have a duty to church. And so, why do you guys think that a lot of young people are leaving the church?
Leaving the church?
Yes. Well, why do you think young people are no longer interested in church?
You want to answer first?
I mean, I can answer.
I could.
Let Junnelle go. Ladies first. Yeah. She gonna give us the honest answer. That's what I want.
I think it's a couple things. I think.
Name 5. You don't gotta go deep.
So religion, I think accountability.
Religion first. Why?
I think a lot of youth, I guess, haven't been taught how to have real relationship with God. So because they don't really have that foundation in their lives, they kind of just go astray, not really knowing how to stand on their beliefs. Like, I know for us, we're all Caribbean, and we all
know how the Caribbean culture goes.
Yeah, we know how the culture is. We know that most of our parents are not transparent, or don't really want to speak up on certain things. So
that's 2.
Yeah. So
what other?
That's 2.
Yeah. No, you can go as religion, right?
That's 1.
That was
you gotta get 4 more.
4 more? Okay. I said accountability because sometimes I think youth just make their own choices to disobey God or to run away from God.
True.
The prodigal son.
Yeah.
That's a
I think they just make their own conscious choices to do things contrary to God.
3.
3, I know a big one is they always say judgment. Maybe the older folks, elders, pastors don't really understand them, so there's just this disconnect. So they always think that oh, you're judging me for all these things. Yeah.
Usually when they come at you, they don't come at you
in good faith,
proper way. They come at you in more of a military type of way.
So religion, accountability, judgment.
Anything else?
Do you have it the other 2? I don't know.
She's tagging you in.
You can finish the last 2.
For the last 2, I'd say C. So she said religion, accountability, judgment. I would also, this one may be a little bit, I'm going to say responsibility as well.
On whose end?
On whose end? I'll say responsibility on the youth end, right? So it's like, the reason I say that is because...
So accountability.
That's
kind of accountability, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, right. You're kind of accountability.
But say what you're going to say.
No, pretty much like, you know, the religion does put, as we talked about this earlier, it puts a lot of pressure on people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you put that much pressure on youth and you do not properly equip them, they will cave under pressure. So it's gonna make them. So once they have the opportunity to step out the church and run, they're gonna take that chance. You know, a lot of youth are under their parents' household and stuff like that. So of course they're gonna follow the staff. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do that. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do that. So, but once they turn 18, 19, 20, and they get a job, they're able to go find themselves a roommate. They're gonna dive, go find themselves a roommate, and at that point, the rules that they had to follow, they don't gotta follow it no more. So that pressure, all that responsibility, they're free from it all. The shackles are gone. So it's just like, oh, these shackles are gone. Why do I have to continue? It's like, you know, all this pressure they're putting on me, I don't got to do it no more. So they had a way out. Like, personally for me, college was my way out.
Yeah.
Once I went to college, I was like,
wow,
I'm good. I was gone. I was gone. I was free. Right? Yeah, I went away. So I went upstate. So I was just like, I was free. And I can say that for multiple, like a lot of, you know, youth, once they do go to college and they go away, they go upstate, they don't come back the same. Yeah, they do not come back the same. So
you really don't, trust me.
Because it's like that responsibility, that heaviness on you, and you weren't even built up properly with the foundations to really, like, they didn't equip you with the foundational things to hold on to that weight. You're going to break upon it. You're going to break, and the moment you could dip out, you're going to dip out. Yeah. And I'll say another thing is just, I guess I'll say another reason why they leave. This one I'll say, I spoke on that earlier, but equipping, right? I'll say equipping because, and that's on the elder side of it, right? Elders and pastor side of it. They don't equip the youth properly. So it's just like, sure, children's corner. We go to children's corner and all that thing. So like we all did the children's corner. We all did Bible. So we all did.
Once you get to certain age,
exactly.
Children's corner.
Exactly right. So it's like,
how would you want to be equipped?
How would I want to be equipped? I would like to. The way I think you should equip people is to really
separate it high.
Is to really teach them. You know, you got to really you got to really take the time to teach them and not just throw the word in their face. And I think that's how I felt, at least, where the word was being thrown in your face instead of the word being taught to you, and taught to you in a way that you can implement what you were taught to your life. So taught to you that in a way where it's like, you know, okay, cool, this word was said to me, it resonated with me because it applies to things that's going on right here now in my life, and now I can apply what I learned you know, in my life now. Now going forward, I can now apply this lesson, whatever it may be. It wasn't just a book of judgment being slapped in my face, and they were like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Where in time, that's what it would feel like. So
I agree.
Yeah, I think those are some things that, you know, adding on to what she said. That's 5, right?
Yeah,
that's 4 or 5.
I think that's something else, though. I think pressure from the world as well. Like,
pressure from the world.
It's not. It's not cool to be Christian. You know, it's not cool to be like.
So wait, here's a good question. Do you think that the church is hiding us from the world, or the world is hiding us from the church?
The world is hiding us
from the church.
The world is hiding us from the church,
or the church is hiding us from the church is hiding the world from us.
Matter of fact, the church is hiding the world from us. Matter of fact, that's the reason. That's the main reason why I think the church is hiding us from the world, and that's the exact reason why most youth run away. Is because it's like most time when we grow up, you know, as kids, like, you know, for example, you know, the concept where parents be like, yo, if you kiss a boy, you're gonna be pregnant and all that, which is all a lie. You know, they're basically trying to hide things from us. So when they, instead of them just giving us lies like, oh, if you kiss a boy, you're gonna get pregnant, those lies, when they figure out it's not true, you know, because obviously your parents will tell you first. So then when they realize, oh, this is not true, so then as a kid, that will make you think like, oh, hold on, so the whole time my parents been lying to me about this, that, and the third. So I think like for the youth wise, it's like I think like for us the main reason why we leave is because like they say, if you be a straight parents, you gonna create sneaky kids. So I think the way like most Caribbean cultures raise students is wrong. Where they try to build them into this, try to block out like that the world ain't really evil and try to make it seem like it's good. Like they're not basically giving us the truth, best of both worlds. Like parents used to just tell us good and not give us, because there's always two sides to things. Everything you do has a consequence. Is it whether it's gonna be, be good or bad? Because we all know everybody ain't gonna like you at the end of the day. So it's always gonna be two sides to it. So I think like as our parents wise, we all grew up where our parents would try to baby us and hide the world from us, like telling us that kissing and all that other stuff. Like I think our parents are supposed to be telling us things like about pregnancy and all that other stuff at a very young age, like probably like 9, 10 and stuff. Because if we have more knowledge about it, then as we grow up, then we will know. Then we will know those things. Then we will know and have knowledge of those things if we attempt to do it. Because most people, after the situation happened, they're like, oh snap.
Right.
This happened, and sometimes not everybody lucky. Some people just gonna end up having babies. So it's like in those situations, the parents could have educated you, because as we do go to school to get an education, but I think the best education, one of the best educations we can get is coming from our parents. But instead, our parents choose to hide those informations from us because they're hiding us from the world when we have to go outside every day to go to school and all that stuff. So, yeah, you trying to hide us from the world, but we're going outside to school every day, right? So it's like they just teach us certain parts of the knowledge, but they don't give us the street knowledge that we need.
That's fast, because everything that we didn't learn at home or at church, we learned from either the streets or from school.
Exactly, and that's the number one.
Or TV.
Exactly, that's the number one reason why most of us, students leave the church.
And I think that's where it comes in with the whole equiping factor, right?
Yeah.
They don't properly equip us because it's.
And then hold on, let me finish.
Wait.
I'm gonna add on to that. On top of that part, the other part that they do, which is a bad mix, is they move like what I just said, adding on to the part where, like when you do something wrong, instead of trying to get to know your child and all, they will move more like military soldier, like whoa, yes, do this. And then we all know those type of techniques don't really work for everybody. So it's like certain people, you try to use that technique, they run away to somebody else, they're gonna feel like they're not loving all that. And we all know the worst thing in life is where you have a kid and you let somebody else grab that love that as a parent you're the one supposed to be getting, but a kid giving somebody else that type of love. Because at the end of the day, they came out of you. You're the one supposed to be taking care of them. So I was like, yeah, like, that's the reason why. Like, parents, it really all starts from the parents. Like, because they lack giving us the knowledge because they fear of this. But it's better if they give us those knowledge so we could be prepared for it.
But sometimes they rather someone else do the job for them.
Yeah, but if you let somebody else do the job for them, you're basically letting a stranger doing it.
Exactly.
And if you let a stranger, then the stranger... You don't know if they're going to be good or bad. They could use it for their own good or whatever.
Perfect example is all of us. We spent more time growing up with our teachers than sometimes with our parents.
Exactly. Because most of our parents was,
working.
they were working, got 2 jobs. When they come home, they just put food on the table. They don't really ask you about
That's why family so important.
They don't really ask, because my parents had to be real, like, that's how it was with me. Like, I just used to go to school, come home, we never really had like family activities, so it was like I was learning mad stuff on my own.
That's why family's so important, And it's like going back to the equipping thing. It's like just as you mentioned, the question about whether the world is hiding us from the church or whether the church is hiding us from the world, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if the church wants to hide us from the world. And well, not really hide us from the world, but like shield us from the world in a sense, because the world has a lot of things in it that are tempting, that are, you know, will lead us down the wrong path. We have friends that's going to, you know, lead us down the wrong path, influences, pressure, all those things. So it's like,
our parents could have
exactly. That's the thing. The church, our parents could have equipped us with what we needed to know to really fight off those temptations, those pressures, all those things.
That watered down
Yep.
message.
As fate would have it, I'm one of your elders technically, right? so what do you feel like I didn't equip you with?
Technically, you know, well, I met you when it don't count because I met you when I was pretty much, you know, 20, 22, 23 by the time I met Rick. You know that. So like, I went through so many things. So it's like, you know, it's already there. But if I was to talk about what the elders, you know, previously, what they didn't teach me and things such as that, they didn't really teach me going, like, for example, let's use, you know, the whole sexual thing you brought up, right? Yeah. When it came to, like, you know, oh, if you kiss somebody, you're gonna get her pregnant, right? Yeah. So it's like, that was an extreme example, but that's pretty much how they taught it to us, right? They taught us, it was like, yo, sex is bad, this and that, but they never told us why. They never told us how to equip. They told us sex was bad. They told us don't do it. They told us, hey, this is a sin, and it's against God. But okay, cool, but that doesn't answer the questions in our mind, and it doesn't quench our curiosity. It doesn't stop the curiosity. It doesn't answer the questions in our mind. And then when we go to our friends and they talk about it, we tell them, oh no, sex is bad. They say, oh, why is bad? Oh, it's in the Bible. Oh, what's in the Bible about it? Why it's bad? They have these questions you can't answer because your own elders didn't answer it for you. So it's just like, well, what do you guys think about it? And they say, oh yeah, it's amazing. It's this, it's that. So now you're over here. Like, is it really that good? They told me I'm gonna get pregnant. Boy, you're not gonna get pregnant. Just pull out, bro. Just pull out. It's like, just pull out. It's like, just pull out. That's what I gotta do. Yeah, pulling out in the Bible. And then they're gonna tell you, pulling out in the Bible. When I won't got in the Bible, who pulled out, yada yada. So it's like,
there's a story about that.
Exactly.
I read it to you on that one time.
So it's like, they don't properly equip you with what you need. And a perfect example, I heard of this example like about last month when I was talking to this brother in Christ of mine. He told me, do you know the story about David and Goliath? And I was like, yeah. David slingshot, boom, Goliath. He took him down. He's like, yeah, he was prepared. But he was like, did you know that he God equipped David before he even fought Goliath? And I was like, what do you mean by that? He was like, David was out there in the woods fighting bears, fighting lions, fighting all these challenging animals, the challenging beasts before he even went up against Goliath. So he was getting equipped all his life. God was equipping him for this challenge before he even got to the challenge. So that when he got to the challenge and he saw Goliath, he was like,
he'd be more experienced for it.
Exactly. I've been fighting bears and lions, the two sides taught me all my life. You think I'm gonna be scared of a giant? I have the Lord with me, and not only do I have the Lord with me, but the Lord has been preparing me and equipping me all throughout my life before I even got to this challenge. Now I'm at this challenge, boom, take him down easily because the Lord's there and he equipped me for it. So I think that's how the church is supposed to be, where it's like the church understands that the world is full of a bunch of temptations and things that will really catch the youth. Our minds aren't developed. We don't understand things. Pressure is going to get us. But if they properly equipped us, and not just the church either, parents as well, because you go to church once a day, once a week, maybe twice. Sometimes I pray, all that stuff. So you're with you should be with your parents a lot more. Where it's like after school, you come to your parents told you yada yada. They should be equipping you and helping you deal and maneuver these situations, because these situations are going to continually come up in your life. Pressures will continue to come up. Peer pressure continues to come up. Challenges continue to come up. Exactly. So it's like that equipping factor is so highly important. I think because we're missing that, when youth get older, they just leave because they weren't properly equipped. So they're just like, I'm going to leave it because I think I know better.
If they equipped us from a young age, I think it would have grew habits, because we all have habits.
Exactly, right.
And if they equipped us, then we would have good habits. So then it will be hard to catch bad habits.
Exactly.
But if we started with so much bad habits, then it's on a later end. Then they want to come in and be like, yes, I was wrong. I should have did this. Like, man,
it's too late though.
It's kind of too late. We already done
messed up. We already got ourselves caught up in a bunch of nonsense. We got kids outside of wedlock. We got this. We going on.
You want to tell me when it's all the things already done. That's what they do.
Exactly.
And then they want to be like, oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to protect you. You was not. If you really trying to protect me, you would tell me.
You would really equip me. You would give me a sword and a shield, not just not just a shield.
Like,
I need them both. A shield is great, but I need a sword too, so that I can combat these falsities, in the world.
I don't even think they give us the shield. They just give us the sword. Don't give us shield.
Here's a little piece of paper. This is your shield.
Just put this and tell people I'm a child of God.
I want to hear Junnelle's point of view because I didn't grow up with you guys, but I grew up with Junnelle. So growing up, like...
Yeah, go ahead, Acee. What you had, Acee?
Oh, okay. Growing up, like, Ben said he felt like he wasn't properly equipped by the members of the church. Do you feel like you was equipped by the members of your church, or do you feel like you were better equipped at home? And do you feel like that equipped you for where you at now?
I would say growing up in the church I grew up in, I would say I had to equip myself more than they did. Like I guess growing up, I always felt like
you always believe.
I always believed. I knew God was real,
Facts.
but I couldn't really attain Him through the church.
Facts.
I always felt like
I don't
know. I guess the number one reason is that not seeing these people even like believe in the words they claim to believe in. It's like they don't believe it themselves, and it feels kind of like fake sometimes. Like you always have to
like a business
save face in a way. So I don't think they really equipped me enough. I felt like I had to go outside and really figure out who God is, what does He want from us, and kind of see, kind of develop that relationship He wants with us.
Yeah, I agree with her too, because, the church I went to, because we all didn't really go to the same church. But the church I went to, like, I ain't going to sit here and act like I wasn't going to church. I probably was going to church and was like, nah. But, when I was going to church, I wasn't really into all of that, but I did say I always believed in God because of my mother. So that's her. She was the one, that kept the belief system in me. Because, I done see her went through it all and all. So I seen her do things, miracles. So that just gave me the belief. But as the church wife, just like how she said, from the church houses, I seen a few shiesty stuff. So
yeah,
from seeing shiesty stuff,
seen a few shiesty stuff.
Yeah, I seen a few shiesty stuff. But as a kid, they think like, because the one thing I can say about me, like I was always more wiser than my age. So like some people would think whatever they think, but when they think that's when they lower into my trap, thinking, yeah, you think I'm dumb. Nah, but I'll show you something. So it was like that for me, but at that age I was more hostile, so I didn't really care about the church at the time. But yeah, you're right. I had to find it outside of it, because I at one point, like after I started, stop being a aggressive individual too much. Then I started calming down more, being at peace and all that. Like I came back to the church, but when I came back, I was like, this. I had to be real. I'm like, yo, this look like a game to me. Like, for real. If I had to be real with myself, this look like a game. And like, I always felt it was fake.
Life is a game, though.
Yeah, like, I always felt like, every time, like, if I had to be real, every time I get it, I thought, like, yo, this is fake, bro. Like, this is like me sitting at home with popcorns on Netflix. Like, if I had to be real, some people gonna be mad, but oops. Don't matter.
And I've been there two decades, so
yeah.
But it always felt like I'm not really like getting
anything.
What I need. So
it's like they just like they're blurred, just talking words, but like nothing's really assimilating my mind or anything. Yeah. I had to go out. I really found God outside the church, bro. It wasn't in church I found God, and that's the main reason why trying to better myself and all that other stuff, because I found him outside of church. I found them because I remember one time I was young. That was the time I thought I was a little crazy, because I remember I was walking. I was about to do something that was not a good idea, and at that moment I was just walking to the place and I heard a voice say, Ali son, Ali son. I look back, I'm like, yo, why that sound like my mother back there? I'm like, oh snap. But I never seen my mother, you know, so I kept walking. I kept hearing the voice. I'm like, yeah, I'm going home. Like, I must be bugging, like, I'm hearing things. But I never really talked about it with nobody, you know, because I don't want to be like, yo, you crazy. So I never really talked about it. But at that moment, I did feel like, I was young, I was hostile, but at that moment, I did feel like it was like God talking to me, though. Because, you know, at that time, I'm like, I know what I was about to go do is not something good. So, you know, like, it can't be the devil. Because if it was the devil, he'd just be like, yeah, go do it. Mm-hmm. So that moment, that's when I really, you know, that was my first, like, interaction, I'll say, with God. I really had.
I guess since everybody won, I guess it's my turn. I feel like church has been an interesting experience. I've been in that church since my sister was christening in that church. You was christening in that church. Benry was christening in that church. Jemima, Jeremy, Benoni, Benny, like, these are all people that I've watched grown up. And I can say, like, I agree with all of you. Like, there is a lot of politics that go on in church. There is a lot of games. Like, to the point where when I was growing up, I wasn't really interested in church because of, I guess, my experiences and, like, I guess, what I would hear, what I would see. And I was like, oh, hey, whatever. And like everybody else, I found refuge in the streets, you know? And so, like, with that, I was comfortable. I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you know, the game. So, and that's one thing that I'll never, like, hide, because everybody else that, you know, reached that, I guess, those positions, they want to act like they perfect, and they want to act like they never went through the things that everybody else go through, and then they judge, like, the judgment thing, the accountability, they don't believe in what they say. And that's why I even named this The Real Word, because I wanted to, like, be fully transparent that nothing is ever going to be perfect. No one is ever going to be perfect. Like, only one person that ever walked the earth was perfect, if you believe in that. Like, if you believe in
Moses
in Christianity. He was a murderer. Like, he died a man.
He still turned his life.
So it's like, for me, like you said, it's a game, but instead of the people that just sit back and they look at the game and they're in the audience, like, I felt like, you know, I wanted to get my feet wet, so I played the politics with them. Like J. Cole always said, like, for the greater good, I walk amongst the evil, because I know the same things that all you guys know, plus more. You understand? Yeah. So sometimes I just sit back and I just soak the game up, but sometimes I gotta get my feet wet too. So I can say I've been youth leader since 2015.
I was in 11th grade.
So that's like 7 years. Like, I could never say I was perfect within those 7 years. I'd be lying to everybody. I'd be lying to myself too. I can't say that during that entire time, like, you know, I did everything that I could have done. But I feel like I did my best. Like, you know, like, I feel like I left some kind of impact. Like, yeah, it was a learning experience. It's not like somebody left me a guidebook. Like, you know, when you start a job, they give you like, yes, I didn't get no trade. Just like you said, you wasn't equipped, I wasn't either.
Right, exactly.
But
that's a problem right
somehow, like, I ended up on a stage, and the world ended up judging me, and I'm like, why? It's like, because you're the one that decided to pick up that cross. And I always go back to Pastor Wilfred, because he was the one that said everything I do, make sure I record it and share it to the world. He goes, they're gonna watch. Believe me, they're gonna watch. I was like, this old man crazy. You remember he had the big camera, he used to record everything. Like, he recorded more than he preached. So I was like, all right, cool. So he was the one that gave me the idea to record my sermons, and which led up to the show, which led up to everything, you know. And I remember, like, by my third sermon, it went viral, 50,000 views, and that was back then, 2015. Yeah. So it's like everything just from there. So, bro, you know, so I'm humbled, bro. Like, I know people gonna judge me. I know people gonna talk about me, but God picked me. I can't tell God no. We all see what happened to people that tell God no. It's just that I know I'm not gonna be perfect, and I know my mistakes are gonna be on TV, literally. So
You got you on 4K.
so I accept that. Like, you know, 7 years ago I didn't know that. If I knew that back then, I would have said no, thank you, like everybody else.
And like you put your life in scope.
But you know, it is what it is. Like, everybody see my good times, everybody see my bad times, you know? So sometimes I walk around my house, I look at the trophies, I look at the plaques, I look at the paintings, and I ask myself, was it all worth it? You know, you gotta ask yourself that question, like, what is it that you're striving for? Like, and I'm gonna be completely honest, since you guys are here and we talking and you got me into it, I only became elder for my father. And it was for my mother and my father. But for my father to be petty and for my mother out of respect. And one of the people I spoke to before I got ordained was Pastor Pierre. And I love Pastor Pierre. And he was supposed to be here today, but everything happens for a reason. He's going to be here next week. So if y'all want to pull up, pull up. So he was like, it's up to you if you want to engage in the nonsense because you're wise. You already know what it is. But if you want to go and subscribe deeper into it, the religion, then that's what you choose to do. But you know the rules to it. They're letting you know how they are. It's no secret. So you sure you want to be a part of that? No one is holding a gun to your head like, stay here. No, you can leave at any time, but you're choosing to suffer through that. So he asked me, what you want to do? And I said, okay. Me, my father, anybody that know my father got a big mouth and a big belly. You know what I mean? So whatever. Yeah. And he's arrogant. Humble was never a word in his vocabulary. So, you know, so he used to beef with the elders, like, and so you know what it is. You know, yeah, we're saying that we're part of this thing of ours, because we could say this thing of ours is just like the mafia, but they didn't like them. They don't like you. It's a voting system. You don't got the votes. What you gonna do? It is what it is. So he never became elder. So he got tight. He just left. He was like, you know what? I don't want to play this game. Back to you, the game. I don't want to play this game.
Yeah.
So next up, I guess it's me. So I'm like, do I want to play this game? Yes or no? And I says to be petty, like, my dad never did it, so let me see if I can. And that was really it. And from my mother's point of view, she said, son, like, you grew up in this church, like, you know, you seen the good, you seen the bad. Here's your chance to actually make a change. They've been saying that they want to buy a church since she was born, literally.
Wow.
True, yeah.
So, and full circle.
That's like 20-something.
How old are you?
23.
So,
Yeah.
So 23 years later, God has put me.
23 years
Look, 23 years later, God has put me in a position where I'm able to help the church purchase a church. It took 23 years. I couldn't make this up.
23
years. So what really happened in all the other years?
Money at?
I don't know.
So,
all the tithes, offering, where all of that went? We taking 23 years to buy a building.
So that's me being 100% honest with y'all. You feel me? And I feel like for me it was just a race, and I was running my race, and I made it to elder. Like, I made it. And if it was up to me, I'm like, okay, what's the next thing? I could go to school and get a master's in divinity or PhD in divinity, become a pastor full time. That's if I want to do that.
Right.
But that's not, I don't know if that's for me. Maybe when I'm 60, 70 years old, I can't get no more trouble. But for now, life is gonna happen. So I sit back and I soak up the game now, because now I'm getting inside these different rooms. But it's like what Alex always told me. He said you had the ability to move through multiple rooms because of the different worlds that you was able to enter.
Right.
Like the church, you didn't allow the church to stagnate you into one mindset like those sheltered kids that just know church,
Really.
SDA, Pathfinder, everything like, nah.
So they know they whole
like you witnessed different parts of life and you was able to at least explain it to others. Like, yeah, look at my life, for example. It is what it is, but this is what I could only share with you because this is my story.
Ain't nothing better than a real story than, you know, that phony story.
And when you ask to be a living testament to his glory, this is what it's going to be. Like, every story you ever read in that book, none of them was sweet. Like,
they all had difficult paths, man.
So you talk about you want to be a living testament to his glory, man. That man died on a cross.
Yeah, and ain't no worse.
Nailed to it. Like,
and
the nails went through where his body wouldn't drop no more. He was at least 150 pounds, so imagine them nails, the size of those.
Yeah.
If you believe in that.
A man never sinned and he got ridiculed the most.
So that's just my point of view on things, you feel me?
Yeah.
Never ridiculed. Church, I gotta work on that, man. Y'all gotta stop moving like sergeants. That's only gonna kick people out the church.
There was a church that nailed them too.
Yeah, honestly, I blame a lot.
What do you think about that? Because I preached on that one day, and it seemed like it bothered a lot of people because I took it. I preached on, the last sermons that I did in December and January of the year before last, it was on the crucifixion of Christ. And I spoke it from Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah. And
then I brought it full circle to Christ. And then I reversed it, and then I brought it full circle to the church, literally. And then the Sabbath before that was the Sabbath I got ordained, and then I mocked the pastor because he was like, he put a lot of emphasis on that ordained,
Okay.
Consecrated,
Okay.
and it's like to them that was the pinnacle. And when I hit that pinnacle, I looked and I was like, who would have ever imagined this? You feel me?
Yeah. I mean, you didn't even imagine it.
I did it. So like, but that's my point. It's like everything happens for a reason.
Sure.
And it's like, you used the example of David earlier, and you saying that you feel like they didn't equip you. But one of the things that David said to Saul when Saul tried to equip him is, I can't fight wearing your armor.
That's true.
Yeah, you gotta wear your own armor. That's why, like, we've spoken about this before we even got here. Like, think like most people just come to, you know, the physical building expecting to find God, and when they don't find God in the physical building, that's when they run. So that's another aspect, and that's why I tell people, it's like, yo, bro, like, the building is a building. That's not where you really gonna find God. Like, you gotta find it within yourself first, like, because at the end of the day, it's a connection. It's an A and B. You can't be looking at the other guy expecting, oh, since he had this connection, I'm just supposed to have the same thing. You know, everybody got different journeys. You feel me? We don't all got the same journey, but you gotta find it within yourself. That's why I feel like, you know, maturity and like me personally, I feel like a lot of people in the church are like spiritual babies. They come every week, you know, they give them the little pants of fire, gaga, you know, come back next week, same thing. And thinking like, hallelujah, the watered down, hallelujah, and then, you know, they do the, oh my God, Jesus. Like, we all see it, like, I see it in the movies and all that. Like, they do the same thing, you know, they not really teaching the real word, like, you know, because the one thing about, like, you know, Bible, like, everybody could, you know, explain it in their own image. And, you know, like, the Bible's not evil. It's who hands it fall into that makes it evil. Because we all know a phone can't do nothing without you touching it, right? Because it needs you to monitor it and move it around and for the data to be running everything. So you can't really call a phone evil, just like how, you know, people be like, oh, the Bible evil. Like, no.
Don't forget the devil knows the word too. Huh? The devil knows the word too.
Exactly. I mean, he was his son. He was the closest son, so he clearly know a lot of things. So basically, the devil already know how to manipulate you. But at the end of the day, you cannot blame the devil at all, because it's your life, and the best gift God gave you is the freedom will to, decide whatever you want to do, because God's not going to force you to love him. He rather it naturally, because if it's like y'all in a relationship, if he forced you to be with her, would y'all want to be together?
I'm already forcing her. What are you talking about?
No.
I'm already forcing her. What are you talking about? She ain't going nowhere.
It wasn't supposed to go like that. But
I play it.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you try to force being with him, or she try to, it wouldn't work. You gotta, like connect. Y'all gotta both.
Choice.
Yeah, both of y'all gotta be feeling each other. Right. So it's the same way with God. Like, he ain't gonna force you to mess with him. Like, he just give you the option to choose. But at the end of the day, when prophecy fulfill itself, you can't have no excuses, because every day is a new day. So basically, every day is a new opportunity to change.
So why is the choice now being the majority's like, yeah, I'm not dealing with that right now. I'm not
because
dealing
most
with that right now.
the reason why
most like they're not dealing with church right now.
Okay.
Most people can't handle the pressure, and right now it's like like the TV is one of, I keep saying this a whole lot. The TV is one of the biggest spells ever, because we all have that in our houses. You cannot tell me one household that don't have one TV at least. Whether they still got that little big fat hump in the back box TV, they still got a TV and they're watching it. They give it to you with a satellite. You don't even need cable to watch TV no more. Like, you can watch TVs over
the internet.
Yeah, on the internet. You don't even need to have a phone number to really be on the phone.
But wait, Junnelle was gonna say something about that.
You said why they're not like.
Why are more youth not really interested to church right now? Like, they more saying, "Nah, I'm good on that right now."
I think right now it's because, the people I know, I think it's because, like what he said, they haven't been equipped or trained. So when they go through a tribulation, which is the pandemic, they just don't know
how to deal with it.
It just fell apart. They didn't really have that foundation anymore. So it's just
because the same ones that was
went away.
The same people that were preaching are the ones ghosts.
No, like because it's been almost about to be 2 years now.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
If that trouble comes, if your house is built on sand, it's just gonna wither away because you don't really have that foundation anymore. So they probably just don't want to come back, because either now they're comfortable, or it's now like, well, what do I even go back to? I haven't really gotten nothing from the church, and I feel like the people above don't really care, or they probably don't even know my name. So what's the point of going back?
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, as the youth, a lot of us is feeling like the pandemic made people feel like the church was giving fake love. I would say that.
I'll say I'm
you can't. You're not gonna tell me you ain't feel like the church was giving you fake love.
I'll tell you this, right? It's not even that. This is me personally from personal experience. When I first came to the church, it was a pastor who invited me in. I don't know if I want to say names or not, but my pastor invited me to the church. Some friends of Jesus, was a friend of Jesus, whatever. It was me by myself, no family, no nothing, right? When I got baptized in that church, again, no family, no nothing. I think this is just something I think. I think because I was not attached to a family, I did not get treated the same as any other kid in the church or as any other youth in the church, because I was not attached to a family. So any event, I didn't get invited to. Anything they're doing, I didn't get invited to. Plan trip, I didn't get invited to. So I think it's because I was not attached to a family. Now, when I did get attached to a family, which was for Fleets, God bless him, this man's amazing. I love them so much. And, they pretty much kind of adopted me in a sense, right? I pretty much, ended up just staying at his house all the time. And because of them, it's like, one time I pretty much adopted myself with them. Out of nowhere, I started getting invites. Out of nowhere, I started getting, alerted to these things that were happening. So in terms of the love thing, I'd say that I think that it does come a lot down to family. But I do want to touch on one thing you mentioned was the equipping thing, right? Where it's like, okay, you can't wear somebody else's armor. And I'll say this is what I think about it when it comes to that. Is I think that you're right, that you can't wear somebody else's armor. So You know, you really can't do that. But the armor, like, so we got to think about, okay, so where did David get his armor, right? He got his armor from the relationship he had built with God. So I think that the armor is created when you have a relationship with God. As you have this relationship with God, and you're constantly building it, even if you fall, even if you make a mistake, but you're constantly still building, relationship with God. God is sitting there building out your armor. He's building out your weapon, building out your sword, building out everything you need, because he's a refiner, right? There's a song there's a song. It goes that God, you're a fire, the refiner. And I want to be consumed, right? So it's like when I think about that song, I think about the fact that God is not only just, when we have a relationship with God, he's constantly refining us, building us, constantly have us in the fire like a blacksmith, making us harder, making us like, steel, as hard as steel, so we can't be, so that when we bend, we don't break. So even if we fall, we don't break. So I think that when it comes to that armor, it all comes down to the relationship with God. And I would say this, that is something that's missing when it comes to youth. That relationship is missing. So we don't have the relationship, we don't have any armor. So when we go out into the world, we are vulnerable to every single thing that they're shooting at us. Yeah. And because we're so vulnerable,
like, gotcha.
Exactly. We're coming back to the church with these battle wounds, these battle scars, an arrow here, a knife back there, this, that, and third. They're gonna judge us because we messed up so much. And now you're getting judged here, you're getting shot there. You don't want to be nowhere at this point, so it takes you to a spiral. Exactly, you're in a spiral now, and then you're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay out here. I could fight out there. I can't fight in here though, but I can fight out there.
To answer you, I use myself.
Mm-hmm.
Ephesians 6 verse 11 and 12. I put on the whole armor of God, so I may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickednesses and false principalities in high places.
Right.
The church, the example you gave is that the people up high, you feel like don't really know you. They don't really know your name. Why is there a high and a low in church? Why?
Politics of it.
So that's one, right? Salvation is personal in the sense that you have a life where you have to make the experience in order to find God. Paul had to be Saul. Saul had to be blinded on the road to Damascus in order to become Paul. Sometimes we think that we can see and we have to be blind in order to see. Just like the prodigal son, his father let him out. His father let him go. Yeah. He squandered his wealth. He ended up sleeping with pigs. He had to go through it. His father had to let him go in order for him to come back. So it is what it is. So me, like, I grew up in the church and I saw a lot. I saw people come, I saw people go. I see my church very big, then I see my church small, then I see my church tiny, then I see my church
very big
get big, and then Corona. And it feel like all the work that we did just went out the window a little bit. And like you said, a lot of us wasn't equipped for it. I wasn't equipped for it.
Right.
Like, I feel like at the beginning, I was doing as much as I can, but then I was doing a little too much. And then, the politics, some people felt like we was doing two churches. One church for the youth and one church for the adults. But at the same time, the whole time when church was open, we was asking for our own youth service the whole time. So imagine being on the phone and you didn't want to be there in person, listen to it. Imagine being on the phone now. Are you going to listen to it? No. You're going to just find other stuff to do.
Yeah, because you don't have to be there.
You're not be there.
And no one's holding you accountable.
Exactly. Once you're not held accountable to it anymore, you now have the excuse. And it's just like, as I said before, the shackles.
COVID's the biggest excuse.
Shackles were broken. Shackles were released. You were just like, oh my goodness, I'm free.
COVID-19.
You're like, oh my gosh, I'm free. It's like,
COVID, I can't come to church. COVID, I can't be around people. COVID, I can't shake your hand. COVID, I can't hug you. COVID, I can't be
COVID was just an amazing excuse.
Even the family when called COVID, they use that.
The other day, right, I was at church. I see how lit. I said wow to a whole family, right? I went to the kids, I went to the wife, and then I gave them a kiss and a hug because I haven't seen them in a while. I got to the husband, he was like,
that gave you like that too, bro.
And I was like, I'm like, oh, we still doing this, huh? It's like, all right, I'll play along.
The fear of God, though.
Yeah.
The fear of God, though.
Sometimes you gotta play along with it. You know?
When in Rome, you gotta act like the Romans.
Yeah.
Sometimes the fear is convenient in this point. In this point, moment, the
I
fear
mean, life is all about
you know?
fear and love. You know, I always say like whatever you fear is gonna control you.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you believe it or not, trust me, it is. Because if you fear it, it's gonna control you. Because you be like, oh my God, I don't want this. It's just like how you got a bully and you ain't step up to the bully yet. Like you always gonna be like, oh my God, please don't hit me, please don't hit me.
Exactly.
Take my money. You basically give him whatever just so he won't beat you up. It's just like that, man. Like, you know, you gotta face your fears. Because, I mean, if you never face them, how you gonna know? If you never take the chance to face your fears, how you gonna know if you're gonna be able to, you know, accomplish that task?
Exactly. Because getting hit hurt, but you're gonna heal.
I mean, in life, you gonna get hit. Everybody gonna get hit. Everything ain't always sweet, you know, because we all know, just like how sports, you could go on the whole street, but you gonna have to, that L gonna come.
Mm-hmm.
That L gonna come, especially when you on the street. Yeah, you got a big L coming, so prepare. Because if you going on the road, 20 wins in a row, yeah, that L that you gonna come with, make sure
God has a way of humbling you.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all need to be humble. You know, as human beings, I think we all need that.
Yeah.
I think that's what 2020 showed us too, like to be humble and to rely on God more and more. Kind of had to reevaluate yourself, who you are.
I think we depend on the government too. Depend on the government too much too, you know.
The government interferes too much. They stay out of it sometimes. If they stay out of it, we wouldn't depend on them so much. It's like your roles to govern.
They stayed out because you signed up. It's not like they forced you.
But if there wasn't really government helping, the church wasn't gonna help.
No,
that is facts.
The church gave every family $200 last year. That was it.
Hey.
And look, right now,
that's crazy. When I heard about that was definitely crazy. I was like,
right
only
now?
200? I'm just like,
coming outside.
that's crazy.
Once you come outside,
crazy.
within the first 8 hours, that $200 gone.
Exactly. So it's like that $200 probably did nothing
very
for those
expensive
people
right now.
But $200 probably did nothing for us.
Even
the Chinese get expensive.
You guys were at a lot of the community service programs that we was at. I feel like if we didn't really do that, like people wouldn't really do it at all. Like we didn't
like
really
the church was?
People in the church.
Yeah, in the church?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yes.
Nah, I believe so.
Well, the people in the church,
You think they would do it?
Did they?
No. He said no, and everybody else
believe
said yes.
I don't think they'll do
I don't think they'll do it. I think they'll just do what they usually always have us do. Go door to door, knocking, trying to get that. That's what they had me doing as a kid. But it's like
they go door to door to make sure
I think they expected us to do those programs.
I heard they was doing that too. I'm like, good thing they don't got my address, cause that's crazy.
I mean, they have my address, but you know, I just look at them straight in the eye, and be like,
they don't got my address. That's crazy.
What you gave them?
First you give them $200, and then you.
Yeah, I remember they came to my door before.
Then I heard they started taking tithes from electronic payments. Stuff. I was like, wow, really?
For real.
I'm like, damn, they getting creative now.
That's
I remember they tried to come. They tried one of them. I'm not gonna say no names. Somebody tried to come to my house, but you know me, like that wasn't happening. Cause I was the one that went to the door. I'm like, yeah, she ain't home. She like, you sure? Tell her to call. I'm like, yeah. I never told my mother. Never. They probably don't like me, but oopsie, I don't care.
GED, man, getting every dollar.
Cause like when they was doing that, I didn't seem like I felt foul about that. Like that rubbed me the wrong. It's like it's a pandemic here. People going through it, and you talking about coming picking up tithes and all.
You know what's crazy though? It's like since this pandemic and everything, I've actually been learning just how important like tithing is. Like it's actually something very important.
What do you think the
tithing,
definition of tithing is?
Tithing, you know, just
tithing is 10%.
Yeah, tithing is like 10%, right? Yeah, tithing is 10%.
But do you believe you got to give it to the building? Because me personally, I think tithing.
I think it's that the thing is where we've been taught like as a, you know, this thing is my problem with religion, right? So it's just like when you're giving, at least this from my perspective, when you're giving money, I felt like I was just giving it to these elders, giving it to the people, giving it to them. Cause I ain't gonna lie,
you don't even know where the money going.
I don't know where the money going, but somehow I kid you not, It'll be
It's
a
like the
random
Red
Saturday.
Cross, huh?
It'll be a random Saturday. You outside, you're chilling with your boys, and the pastor pulls up in a brand new whip, brand new spotless Beamer SUV. You like?
No, I've never seen that.
You like? Ooh! You see that? Let me tell you something.
Yeah,
It's like.
That raised the eyebrow for you,
That
right?
raised the big eyebrows. I was
You're
like,
like, hold up.
hold up. I'm like, I ain't gonna say, cause I don't know nothing, so I'm not gonna sue nothing. But it's just
But
like,
the fact that it raised the eyebrow,
yeah,
that's
it
a
raises
good
the
thing.
eyebrow, and it really takes it puts a terrible taste in your mouth when it comes to tithing. But tithing is actually something very important because it's like you're giving something back. You're giving it back to the Lord. You know, you're giving it back joyfully because it's like, God, you've given me all these blessings, you've given me all these abundance. Like 10% is nothing to what you've done for me in my life. 10% should be nothing. I should be happy up in the air to give you 10%. That's nothing, right? So it's like back in the Bible it speaks on, you know, when they ask for offerings for the temples, they would get too much to the point that they'll say, hey, no, stop, because they understood just the amount of blessing God gave into their lives. And it's like we also need to understand the amount of, you know, protection that he gives us just on a daily basis that we don't even know about. So we should be happy to give, but because of the bad taste that they put in our minds, the lack of trust, right? It's like the lack of trust that we actually have to think to ourselves, where's this money going? Well, we should be thinking that this is God. This 10% is for God. It's not even for me. It's for God.
That
it's
goes
like,
back to
it's
what
crazy.
we were saying. If we didn't do it, when I say we, I'm talking about the real word, the company and you guys volunteering and helping us, which is great, like, which is an awesome thing. But I'm saying the conference, the church, as in our church, what are they doing? Because they got a department for that technically.
They do.
Yeah,
Could fool me.
Of course they have the departments, but what are they doing?
Yeah, they got a community
That's
service
true.
department.
They just watch
They don't
it.
do much.
When they came to town and offerings for me, I never really felt like.
Wait, didn't they do that the diaper thing? The diaper thing, giving diapers.
Nah, it was us that did it.
But I'm
See, they even do that. That's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to the tithe, when it comes to the tithe offering, I don't really. I think they just, you know, use that one verse, you know, to scare everybody as the
But where
audience.
is all the money?
Huh?
I'm gonna tell y'all something off camera because I don't want to put nobody on.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. Like for me, when you talk about tithes and offering, I don't really feel like you have to come in the church and give tithes and offerings because number one, most people don't even know where this money going to. Me, I personally believe like tithe and offering is like, you know, helping somebody out where like you actually know you did something. It's like, let's say if you walking on the street, you see a homeless man over here, you know, like going through it and he needs some food. I believe those things are tithe and offerings, you know, like taking them to the store, get them food, things like that. Or let's say like, oh, boom, you just be like, yo, I have to take this homeless guy, go give him a haircut, or like make him wash up. I believe those are tithes and offerings.
Nah, I think that's different. I think that's a service.
Nah,
I think
it's tithes and
I think for it to be tithes, it has to be contributing or like
contributing.
not really contributing, but
definition
it has to
of
be
tithes,
giving to the kingdom
the
of God.
definition
Right?
of tithes is 10%, and offering is anything you give after that.
Right.
Yeah, but you're giving.
But I think you're saying that because
I don't
it's
believe
not a good.
I don't believe
Like
in
if it
giving the
was a
church
good
my
house,
money.
you would give.
Yeah, if it was like a good house, you're gonna
like a
give
good
chips.
church,
Yeah,
because they need it for programs.
I just don't believe that. You know, I'm about to sit here, go to the church, be like, yo, here's $100.
Our church, yeah, I wouldn't.
It's like
I wouldn't give nothing.
I'm not doing
I
that.
haven't given anything
I ain't
because it's just like
I ain't never gonna do it.
It's like if you saw your investment, then you would invest more.
exactly. If I see where it's going, if I see that it's
Exactly.
actually going towards the kingdom and actually progressing, you know,
And when
Well,
the
but
main
the community doing stuff,
I'm gonna give more
because
because I have money in my pocket. I'm just not gonna give.
they're a big church to be able to feed the
That's what I'm
community
saying.
every week.
Mm-hmm.
Like all they would have to do is just cook and just stand by
Exactly.
the door and just
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I see a church where, you know, the main reason driven why I don't give church my money is because the whole thing, like, it took 23 years just to get a building. So it's like, you know, like, the one thing about me as a kid, I was always good at math and I'm good at numbers. So it's like, 23 years,
You gotta really think about the amount of people in the
like
church.
the amount of money,
the suits they be wearing be nice
Exactly.
high-end suits. So you're like, I know you got money.
Yeah, like, you know,
We have businesses, so it's like, all right, cool. Like,
yeah, it's like we're not really trying to pocket watch, but
Exactly.
It's like how you say, if you see a guy pull up in a Benzs, you like, hold the hell up. Like, you take 23 years, you gonna get a church, but You got a whole
You got
G-Wagon?
a whole G-Wagon chilling.
Like, how?
Okay. It's not even used, bro. That thing is fresh, brand new,
Exactly.
2021.
That's what I'm
G-Wagon.
saying. That's what driven me. That's what really driven me. Cause I'm like, yo, like if I don't mind doing it, but it's like, you know, like you gotta show me the Carfax. You ain't just gonna sit here and be like, yes, hope. Just have hope. Like,
but the thing is, we shouldn't even have
Try
that.
that-
We shouldn't
try
even
that
have that
mindset with somebody
mindset.
else.
We shouldn't even have that mindset where it's like, oh, you gotta show me what it's going to. We should have a mindset where it's like,
I mean,
this is
in
me
this society,
giving
you
it back
have
to
to-
God,
you gotta
right?
ask that.
It should be more of a, this is me giving God 10% of all the blessings He done gave me. This is me giving God 10%. What they do with it, I should not have to worry about. So you know what? I trust my elders, yada yada. But it's
I
like
don't
this is
know
me
about
giving back to
that.
God, right?
well, I shouldn't worry about it. I should worry about it.
I
'cause
think
I'm-
you should worry about it because what if it is going to, a really bad place?
Yeah,
and you don't know,
things,
bro.
again, that's where the trust
You
thing comes in.
giving
You don't
your
know.
hard-earned money.
But if
Good
you run
house
away
to a
instead
good-
of staying in it and trying to change it from within, then that is like giving up.
Nah, you could try to change it, but there's other ways I think you could change it. But you know, me going in and be like, here's $100.
Some things are unchangeable.
That's not happening.
Exactly. When it's like when we broke the chain thing, I think about this quote I heard where it's like if the root is poison, then
Yeah.
what fruit is gonna
Like,
produce?
Let's say if they do this, right? If they say, yo, we
Or
about to
judge a
go.
tree by the fruit that it bears.
Let's say if they do things like this, right? They be like, okay, as a church, we doing drop. I actually put money into that, but I gotta see it, bro. You ain't
Because
gonna
we
just-
all know, like, amongst us, we all know, like, the things that has happened with the money. So it's trust. It's a
That's
trust
another
thing.
trust. And when you hear things
I
happen with the
personally
money,
don't
you're
trust
just
the
like,
church.
whoa, like, whoa, that happened,
This
that
church,
happened,
yeah.
that
This,
happened.
yeah.
Nah, I
No, because I don't have to say just the and generalize. Oh,
I
all of
personally-
that. But
I mean, it happens in a lot of churches.
Yeah.
Period.
And it's a very high percentage because I personally believe that 95, 96% of churches around the world are corrupt.
We just throwing numbers out there. We just throwing numbers out there. This man pulling them out of thin air.
I don't believe this world is getting better. I think I believe technology is becoming better, yes, but I think the world rise. I think people are becoming more dumber because when you got better technology than you as a person. Because we all know if you think like, oh, this technology can do everything, then you be like, damn, I don't gotta do this no more.
My people are lost due to a lack of knowledge.
Exactly, and we all know the one thing that the little blush won't tell you, like, the reason why us colors can't be successful is because we don't read, and they're right.
That's-
It sounds like I had a
It's
lot
against
to get off your chest.
Oh.
I'm about to close out.
Oh, okay.
It's been an hour already.
Oh,
Oh, damn.
Oh, really? Oh, shoot.
Oh, yes, but that's what I'm saying,
wow.
I believe that's how to offer it, but, just do it for, like, your community. Like, I gotta see something, like, let me see you trying to, give back to schools where, you got pencils and all that. It's like, if I'm a part of it, like, yeah, I throw the money, no problem, but if I ain't seeing nothing, you ain't seeing a penny.
There's so much going on in the world right now that you can actually contribute to, that you can help, just push things forward. And as you're pushing things forward, you can also spread the gospel of Christ and everything.
Because I think everybody would be willing to give if they actually see,
exactly.
progress,
If you see
evidence.
if I see you giving towards a children's fund, if I see you giving towards like things that happen around the world where people are affected, like the earthquake in Haiti, super effective. If I see you,
if
I see you you do gotta be careful. But if I see you just giving towards that, you're over here like, hey, listen, guys, we're advertised and some offering because we have this fund for Haiti, we have this foundation.
To those
and it's just like consider giving some more. Like
They've
consider
never done that.
So
There
it's
was a
like,
hurricane a couple.
they never done that. Wow, that's insane.
Hurricanes happen
Yeah.
and all that. That's what I'm
insane.
telling you.
That's insane.
I take notes of things
That's
like
insane.
those. I take notes. I'm like, okay, hurricane happened. You talk about help. All right.
It's like
They
there's
give you
things
multiple
going on.
opportunities to help.
Because
And COVID was the biggest exposure to show like frauds.
Because I also think about when they talk about how God fed multiplied the bread and fed the people and then he spoke the word, right? So it's like we can use the tithes as the bread, where it's like, okay, these people are struggling. They pretty much are hopeless in this sense, where they broken out hope. We can hey, listen, we'll help you out, here's some money, but we also going to tell you that your hope should be found in Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's where your hope should be found. So
You want to hear something crazy? The other day I was in committee, matter of fact, and then the elder was like, what have the youth done since Corona?
We did more than you.
He was like,
the real word did more than you.
He was like, well, what have the youth done since Corona? I said, yo, last year we fed over 500 people. And the youth helped. I'm like, what did you guys do?
Give $200.
Your congregation. Get $200 to your congregation. That's not even gonna cover most rent. Like, come on.
We went to Harlem. We fed over 200 people.
Oh, that's good time.
Who did they feed? Nobody. They be like, here $200.
And y'all had an event out in Prospect Park recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, not in Prospect Park. It was in.
No, y'all met somewhere. I forgot where y'all went.
I think it was Brownsville or somewhere.
Okay. But yeah, it's like, you know.
Closing thoughts?
Yes, I have a closing. Like talking about the church youth 2020, I feel like us living in New York City, you know,
expensive.
Yeah. As the years go by, it's going to be pretty much consumed by more and more evil. It's going to be more and more pressure for us Christians. So I would say, like, really evaluate yourself and see if you're being trained to be, you know, a remnant in New York City. And if you're not, you should, you know,
decide to move.
When you say remnant, explain to them what remnant means for those that don't know.
A remnant means just a small amount of people. So the Bible talks about how only a remnant is going to be saved. So it's basically like the last soldier, I guess, in, you know, whatever city, wherever you are. So definitely get, you know, equipped, get trained to be a remnant here, and, you know, follow the words of God, like, and, you know, do what you can. That's how I would say.
My closing thought is the real word did more than a lot of church. I know it's a shot, but I don't care.
Benzs?
My closing thought would pretty much be this. That's something I learned during the pandemic. Break the shackles of religion and really, you know, cling towards relationship with Christ. Once you break those shackles, once you break down that wall, you'll see God in a whole new light, because you'll really be building a true relationship with Him. So you got that.
I think it's a song like that. Break them shackles off my feet.
The word?
The shackles part. The shackles is not what our hairs go. The shackles is up here now.
Yeah, shackles on our mind.
Like people be thinking they free. No, you're not.
Freedom.
Your hands is free to walk in on, but your mind is not.
Yeah.
What's free?
My closing thought would just be like, I'm just blessed to have like these conversations and the fact that like we have a platform where we can discuss these conversations and share with you guys, the audience. Like, we would like to thank you guys for your continued support and for your continued support of this entire podcast ministry, television show, whatever. So it means a lot. And for the fact that we can sit down and have these conversations, I feel like these conversations are therapeutic in a sense, whereas like we generally don't have these conversations in public.
Raw cut, no head.
So, you know, it sounded like I had a lot to get off your chest.
It felt good, man.
So, you know, I'm happy we was able to record it and, you know, cement it in history. So we thank you guys for coming here.
Yeah, thank you,
Junnelle.
Thank you.
You know, you guys.
Queen, Clarendon. If I'm spelling his name right.
Clarence.
Yeah,
Clarence.
you haven't been saying it right.
I don't really watch them, you know. I'm more focused on trying to better me, so I ain't really got time for. No offense to y'all.
Yeah, so we thank all you guys for joining us. We thank you guys for being here with us. And you guys want to pray to close out?
Y'all can pray together. What about that?
Pray, Benzs.
All right, cool. So, dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today, and we just want to thank you, Father, for this opportunity to speak on just how to get closer with you, Father. To speak on things that need to be said, so that we can focus more on your word, your truth, Father, what you have taught us to do and what you have called us to do, Father. Please continue to bless the real word. Please continue to bless Rickard and his work. Please continue to bless Irving and all of them, so that they can really just spread your gospel, spread your word, and just spread the message, and continue to speak on these topics that need to be talked about, Father. Really help them expose the truth. Help them continue to give back to the community and keep serving the community. And bless me and Junnelle with all our endeavors and everything that we have toward the future. And just continue to look over, cover us in your blood. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
See y'all next week.
So we thank y'all for joining us. We thank y'all for tuning in. Good night and God bless.
It's the real word. It's the real